On today's episode, Maria and I further discuss the effects of parents' patterns and habits on children. This is a part 2 episode, so if you haven't watched part 1, feel free to listen in on this one and then go back and watch, or vice versa, whatever you like. We talk about punishment to children, feeling guilty as a parent, having boundaries with children, and how much attention is healthy to give to our children, how to address our children's needs in a healthy, again, and considered way. Like I mentioned in the previous episode, this episode is for everybody. Whether you have children or not, we've all had a childhood to reflect on, to learn from, and to grow from. For those people on YouTube, watching on YouTube, you're going to notice my front tooth is missing. Yes, it is gone. That space is definitely there. And I actually explain what happened with my tooth in a video that I made called Appreciation, a side of you that has been hiding, if you want to check that out to know more why. And just a brief encounter. I have been in the middle of having an implant and found the denture uncomfortable. So I decided for the last legs of my healing transition phase to not wear a denture. And it was a great healing process for me to let go of shame, of guilt, of worrying about how I look, how I appear to people, and sacrifice my own discomfort. I have a message to bring to people. And when I remembered that, it superseded any aesthetic beliefs that I have about myself. So that being said, enjoy the episode. I love you, and I'll see you on the other side. Nice to have you back, Maria. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I've got quite a few questions here. I realized last time we focused a bit more on the adult side of childhood, and I want to dip back into the effects of children presently. So my first question is, does punishment work, and how does it affect children to punish them? What does it do to them, and does it work?
Yeah, punishment means that you want to tell them that you don't like their behavior. And this is conditional love. I only love you when you behave the way I told you. So, and if you are not following my path, I'm punishing you. And then the kids learn how they get the most attention is following the rules of the parents. So if we want to have kids that learn following the rules of others, then we should punish them. But if we want to have kids that decide by themselves, that can figure out what they want to, then we shouldn't punish them. And the next thing is, what kind of punishment are we doing? Or if we give them the opportunity to feel consequences of their behavior, you know, something like when I don't wash the dishes after a while, I'm not able to eat from dishes because they are all dirty. So this would be a consequence. And but parents, a lot of time they do this a lot earlier and say, so you will not get your ice cream when you don't wash the dishes, right?
Or any dinner.
So, so there is no consequence in it, and the punishment has nothing to do with the behavior they showed.
So do you think that it's down to the parent to let go of control? Like you said, for example, with the dishes, if the parent lets go of control and just allows it to happen, let's see what happens when you know the day goes on and there's no dishes left, and allow that to happen. There is a certain control aspect from the parent. You have to be allowing and willing to kind of let it happen naturally, rather than try and stop things from happening or try to control the situation before it gets worse. So would you say it's more of a control mechanism from the parent?
I think most parents, and me too, we control our kids because we worry about the future. You know, we think if kids don't learn to follow, they will have problems because we have had this in our childhood. So we assume that they will have the same difficulties as we had. So this is, and you have to have I think you have to have time to get to the point where you can allow kids to feel consequences. And most parents don't have the time to go through this process.
Yeah, definitely.
They want the things to be done because the to-do list is too big on family things that have to be done. So, yeah, it depends on your decision. I would suggest that you just choose one opportunity where you know you have the time to be patient, wait, and to see the consequences. We have a lot of situations where you don't get the consequences in just a short time, like washing the dishes. And because you overwhelm yourself when you try to change 3 or 4 things at one time. So you also need to focus on one thing where you know you can be patient until the end. You know, if you already know I will not handle this, you shouldn't start it.
Yeah, really good. Thank you. How can we implement warmth and connection in our relationships, especially when we didn't get that warmth and connection in our early years? How can we integrate that into our lives?
You mean parents connecting to kids, or do you mean you as an adult connecting to another one?
I would like to hear both, maybe if they are different, but let's start with the adult. So as an adult, let's say I didn't get any warmth and connection and I'm going into a relationship. How do you go about implementing that?
So if you never made the experience as a child, how to connect to other people, then you will not have the possibility to connect in a relationship, because your feeling behind this is fear, being vulnerable, and don't trust the other. So you have to start working on yourself so that you can cherish yourself. And only if you are able to feel worthy, you can start and connect to other people. So there is no connection if you don't work on yourself. And try to get this feeling in later years is a big challenge. And the other thing is when parents are haven't experienced connection in their lives, it's hard for them to start and being connected to their kids. So this is why it's going on from generation to generation. And it's the same parents who are not used to be connected with their kids. They have to work on themselves to find out how they can connect to them. And so kids need the feeling of being special and beloved from parents, but not only on this talking level. They have to feel it. You know, you can say, "Can't you see that I love you?" You know, this is not a loving feeling. And therefore, you need time to be together with your kids without a plan, without a structure, without a goal, just being together for nothing. And feel how you appreciate them, how awesome they are for you, and those things. But you have to feel it, not to talk about this, because children feel if you love them or not. So it's always, if this is why I'm engaged in these issues, because I think that to get awareness about that, it all depends on your feeling to yourself, how you connect to other people, and how you can start this feeling of being seen and being loved starts with yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I like what you said about with the connection to the kids, spending time with them without a plan, and is kind of getting to know them without any forced situation, like to see who they really are when there is nothing to do, what comes out, and being able to appreciate parts of their personality that maybe isn't when they're coloring, or maybe isn't when we're going hiking, or whatever it is. It's just you as you are. And I would love to see more parents do that, is to explore who their child is without anything.
Yeah, it's the same in relationships. We start not to being interested in the personality of the other one and try to figure out how the person is, and our focus very often is on the fact, does the other person like me? I'm always looking for those things, signs, and I have a big belief system inside what signs I need to feel being loved. Only a male who brings flowers is showing his love in this way. And then I make a list. Oh, no flowers, he will not love me. But
no gifts, no
and
this,
the list is big. How we figure out, or how we think we can see if the other one is loving me. But the focus on who is the other one, what are the interests, what is the other one good in, and what would I like to do? Those things are a lot of time not really important, because the most important thing is, am I loved in this relationship?
Yeah. And nobody else can really, you have to love yourself, because you're your own foundation, and the way the other person expresses their love to you, like you said, might not be what you think it is. So and it's always changing, and we have to accept that people change all the time. So I know that the way that I love my partner has changed over the years, that I'm exploring different ways naturally, and you have to have space for that, and be able to appreciate yourself, self appreciation first, and then naturally that will come towards you, or naturally you'll feel comfortable in who you are. So it wouldn't really matter. You wouldn't have those same questions coming up. There'll be different questions.
Yeah, and if you are depending on the meaning of your environment, of your friends, then you will not be able to express yourself, your true self.
Yeah, and feel comfortable in it. Relationships can, if you're not doing that, can feel like, I know for some people, like they're not sure if they can be their self, or if they're going to be judged by that person. If I show them this side of me that likes art or football or whatever it is, they're not going to like me, because I kind of heard them comment about it before, so I keep it in. And that's also like a false premise, because the whole notion of repression, as we know in the energy healing realm, is that to repress anything is not good for you. It's not good. It's not the truth, and it's not good for you. It only makes you unwell. How important, this is a really good one that I really want to know. How important is it to pay attention to children, and what kind of attention is healthy? Because I know children, they thrive off attention. They want the attention of their parents, and obviously the parents can only do so much, because we have to take care of them, got to go to work and clean and do this. So when I'm reflecting on this, I want to know what is a healthy amount of attention, and how can can parents not feel the guilt of not paying enough attention, or maybe I'm paying too much? Like, is there a healthy balance, and is it right?
Yeah, this is a big question, because in our society with our to-do lists as adults, I think we do not have enough time for kids, and we do not pay enough attention to them. And then the less you pay attention to them, the bigger is their desire to have more attention, right? And then the more you give them attention in the early years, the less they need attention when they grow, because it's like they are filled with attention and then feel worthy, and then they don't need to. It's something like they have to reassure that they are important for their parents every time. So if you are if you feel maybe that work is more important than you have a big void that there is not enough attention, and then the guilt comes in. Most of the parents feel that they do not have enough time for their kids, and because of the guilt, they want to spend the short time they have with a lot of quality time, but children don't need quality time, they need quantity time. It's when you think about a relationship and your partner would say, I only have time on Sundays for 2 hours, and then we can go out, eat, and talk. So you know how you feel when there is 12 o'clock, and at 2 o'clock the time ends.
It's over.
And he said, oh, so what have you done? Blah, 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 blah. So try to feel how you would feel in this situation. So maybe you don't remember the important things from the last week you would like to talk about, or you are under the time pressure, and so I think we can a little bit assume how kids feel if they have less time with their parents, and they need this time without pressure. Just when you ask a kid how was school, they say good and it's done. But but they normally when they come from school, they have something to talk about, but they are not able to remember it 5 hours later, because they feel and they want to talk. So they and we have difficulties remember the things and then talk about them from the past, because it was emotional important. And you would like to talk directly to your partner or the person you're in a relationship with. And normally, if it's important, you take the phone too and say, I need to talk to you now, right? So, and this is a thing in our society, that it's hard, that kids don't have the possibility to reach out to their parents when they need it. They only can talk or be with their parents from the time schedule the family has, and this is not useful for them. So, and this is, and the guilt then that is developing isn't also good, because you do things that you wouldn't do without the guilt. So maybe if you don't like to play with your kids in the evening because you are exhausted, parents do it because they feel guilty. They hadn't had enough time. But then the kid sends this not being there. The head is full with other things. And the parents don't allow themselves to say, no, I'm not in the mood to play with you because of the guilt. But when you have more time, and then you can say, oh no, it's not my game, I don't like it, you don't have the guilt because you feel you had shown enough attention. And so I feel this is at this moment in our society something like a dead end. I don't know how you cannot say 2 hours a day or 5 minutes quality time. It's there is no solution. You need to find you have to balance your own going to work and your own things you have to do, and this big need of kids, please spend time with me, just be there for me, So I don't have a solution, and I don't have a recommendation about a special amount of time. No. The most important thing is not feeling guilt, and maybe something like, it is as it is, and I cannot compensate what's happening. And then the time with the kid might be a little bit more relaxed, and the kid can feel your feelings. But the guilt is not useful in these situations.
Yeah, especially because what we feel, they feel, but they don't quite understand their feelings yet. So let's say, as an example, you're playing with your mom and your mom feels guilty. You can sense something, and that kid might think they're in trouble about something, or they've done something wrong, and they're playing and they're kind of like, oh, something's off, and it's hard to tell. And if this keeps happening, it creates a kind of anxiety in the child about playing with the parent, which is just completely confused situation. And I guess it's more about, one is the parent feeling like they want to spend more time, and it's a lifestyle choice, I guess, like how the parent has to make a decision about the way in which and the quality in which they want to spend with their child. How often, maybe it's just a conscious decision, maybe I want to connect with my child. I want to be there for him or her as much as I can, and not feel bad or guilty about it when I'm not. I have a friend actually who says this as well. She's working all in the week, and her child goes to a really nice daycare. She picks her up and hang out with her a little bit, and then it's time for bed. And on the weekend, she wants to, go to the gym and go to yoga and do other things, but she feels bad because she spent most of the week not being with her child. So she spent time with her kid and felt with this guilty. And I said something similar to her. I was like, if it works better, you're going to feel great going to your yoga class, and then you can hang out with your child. It's 1 hour. You're going to feel great, and you're going to want to, rather than feeling bad and also thinking that you should be somewhere else.
Or maybe there are yoga classes where you can bring your kids with you.
Yeah, definitely. It's just seeking out, being willing to investigate a bit and see, how can I make this work for both of us and feel good about it.
Yeah, and the kids feel comfortable when you take them with you.
Yeah.
It's yeah. I think there are a lot of possibilities to think out of the box.
Out of the
right?
box, yeah, definitely. Yeah. How important are boundaries with children? And again, with the healthy boundaries, feeling guilty or wrong for setting them, or do you think boundaries are important when raising
healthy,
kids?
Yeah, boundaries are important. The parents need to know where their boundaries are, right? So this is the same. When you feel guilty, you are tending to set your boundaries later, because you think, I have to do this because I haven't had enough time. And a lot of boundaries are too late, so the parent is getting angry, but not against the child. It's really against themselves that they weren't able to set the boundary there. It's the same with a relationship. You have relationships where one person in the relationship is doing everything, and the other is just taking and giving. It's not in balance. And this is related to if I feel myself worthy enough. If I feel myself worthy enough, I'm able to set my boundaries. I'm willing to do this, but this not, and this I would do. And but if you feel less worthy, you are more doing things you don't want to do because the outcome is important for you. That the other one, you believe the other one likes me more, loves me more when I don't say no, because our parents in our childhood, I think, they not very often accept a no from a kid, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah. So you have troubles to say no when you are grown up. And it's the same that you
so
then have problems to say no to your kids because you assume the kid will not love me if I say no. No to maybe in the play shop where they want to have a special game or what they want to eat and all the stuff. And then if you think the love is depending on how you say no and yes, then you don't feel your own boundaries, right?
Yeah.
Because you are, you believe the less no you say, the more love you will get. So this is another trap about boundaries. Boundaries also have to do with worthiness.
And I guess like what you said, as a parent, thinking about maybe the way you were raised and that your parents said no a lot and you remember not liking that, so wanting to be that yes parent as well, whilst knowing maybe that it doesn't feel right. I guess that's what is your deep feeling about this? Is it no, it's not right, or yes, I would like to do that? But also checking in, I guess it's quite tricky with as a parent, why you set those boundaries. Like you would have to check in with yourself, like where does this come from, like to make sure that I'm not just repeating what my parents did and say no to the sweets or after dinner kind of thing or whatever, this like cliche stuff, and checking in with
I'm
that.
listening to the neighborhood about these rules, or like I make the experience with my granddaughter. She doesn't like to eat 3 times a day. She has a really special eating rules by herself. She doesn't like to eat in the morning, but in the evening she appreciates to eat 3 times, and then she is done.
Nice, yeah.
And we were educated to eat 3 or 5 times a day, and we were educated to eat everything, doesn't leave something on the dish, and so many rules that if you look behind them, they don't make sense.
No.
And then you lose your feeling about when you are full or hungry, because
your intuition.
you only have to the intuition is gone because you have to follow the rules.
Let's say your child is having a tantrum, or giving off a lot of anger, despair, and this kind of stuff. What is the way that we can do to calm them rather than trying to shush them and be quiet and stop it? Is there a way in your perspective that we can do this in a nourishing way when a child is acting out?
I think normally they are acting out because you set a boundary, you said no to something, right? And I don't think about another reason. So you have to help the kid with the emotions, but you shouldn't change your no. When you say okay because you are emotional reacting, I would say yes for today. Then it will get worse and worse because the kid is learning. The more I cry, the more I'm emotionally reacting. I'm getting my things, right? So you have to stay with your no and just understand. I understand that you don't like that I forbid this. I understand, and I would feel the same as you. And then name the emotions, right? And if kids are reacting in this way, there went a lot of things wrong before, maybe you weren't clear with your yeses and nos, and then the children, it's like learning a language where the things are named different. Sometimes you say, this is a light, and the next day you say, this is a lamp, and then and it's when you react to a question or to a desire one day with a yes and the next day with a no, then
it's confusing.
The only thing the kid is doing, I don't know what rule is today, so please tell me. And they try, can I get it, or can I don't, or will I not get it?
Yeah.
So they figure this out because they don't know. Right? So you can understand why they acting in this way. So you need to write it down in what situation the kids are reacting this emotionally, and see if you can find out the reason. Is it the same reason every time, or is it just the reason that the kid is overwhelmed? This is also a possibility. So, and then when you wrote it down for maybe 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, you can see, okay, I have to get rid of the overwhelming situation. So what can I do that I don't bring the kid in the same situation as when it happens? Or I'm not clear with my boundaries with no and yes.
Yeah.
So, and then you have to optimize your reaction, and then it will not stop at the moment, because there was a development to come to this point also. So you need to get away from this. And it's hard because it's always deep infecting your emotions, So you also have to have a look at your childhood. How did your parents react, and what was allowed and what not? So it's really a big and deep step into the circumstances and your own memories from your childhood, to get rid of tantrums from kids. This is it's the end of a developing thing, and it's hard to get out of this, because it's already a behavior, a habit. So, and it's difficult to find the roots of this habit, but you have to go ahead to get rid of such a habit, because you don't like it, and because it's hard to handle this.
Yeah, it's not sustainable. It's more like a collaborative, a collaboration, a collaborative investigation on both sides. And there is something that the child wants, and there is also possibly something that the parent is contributing to that situation as well. So it's both of them, both of you. Your energies are collaborating in this moment, and both people are contributing something. So it's just figuring out, what is my contribution, what is their contribution, where are we unclear here, and just having the patience to figure it out, because it is just, emotions are fine. We get angry, we get upset, but as an adult, we have been we know what is socially acceptable. And also it takes up a lot of energy from your inside to display that. And kids, they get very tired afterwards. It's exhausting for everybody. And we don't want that. We want to preserve energy and use it in the right way. That would be great to tell your kid one day, how to use your energy in a way that is advancing. But yeah, I really do. I remember my little sister used to have so many tantrums, but she's also special needs, so it was a lot worse. And it could just be like, what is going on? Like, she's on the floor, she's kicking and screaming, she's like picking up leaves and throwing at it and running away. And she's like, where does this come from? And I remember seeing my mom just like trying to manage the situation. And I guess it is the attention. We're back to the attention again. Like, You have to pay attention to these moments and be an investigator. None of us want this to happen, and not being separate, because I think parents get frustrated at their kids because it's like, why can't you just be good? Just do this, be quiet, let's walk. I offered you food before, you said you wasn't hungry, and now you want it, and the restaurant's all the way down there and it's too late, and this kind of stuff. And we want them to be a certain way, and they want to be a certain way. And it's just knowing that it's not that they haven't done anything wrong. And I think for the best part as parents is just knowing that it's got nothing to, you haven't done anything wrong. They haven't done anything wrong. They're not bad. They're not naughty. They're just expressionists. They're just showing you in a way that they can. And maybe they don't, most of them at that young age, they don't have the words yet. So they're just showing it with emotion. And maybe some parents aren't, we've learned to stuff that emotion. So it's so uncommon to us. I grew up in a family where it was not okay to do that. It's not okay. So when the parent is growing up and they have this child, we're on two different levels, and your behavior is not okay. There's not even going to talk to you about it, because you're going to see that it's not okay. And it's you cannot treat children in that way. You have to see them as they're here to learn, they're here to get along, and they're here to use their energies and powers just as much as you and I are. And they're in school like everybody else here. We're all in school. So taking some time and attention with kids. I would like to speak about your book.
It's Your Childhood Holds the Key for Your Habits and Behavior. And it's only 66 pages, so you can read it on a weekend. And then, I'm here to help parents or people in relationships to figure out what experience from childhood are holding them back, and how to start loving yourself unconditionally, so that you can be in a healthy relationship or be healthy parents. And it's a short program because it's not so complicated. You just need to go back and find a new way of thinking about your childhood, and then you are more able to investigate your childhood, and then you can start. The old habits don't work the moment you have clarity about where they come from. Then they don't work any longer, right? And and then it's easy, and you have joy to change. It's not so heavy, and so people are starting to be depressive about their childhood. No, it's joyful to get this new point of view to your childhood, and not like, I don't want to touch it because it's dark, it's emotionally, and then you are afraid, scared, and but when you put light in your childhood, then it's easy peasy to start over.
Yeah, it's a safe thing. It's a mixture of being present and knowing I'm an adult now. I know that I'm just looking backwards so that I can heal from the things that I need to heal from, learn the things I need to learn, and also that you feel comfortable about saying things about your childhood to your children as well. I think a lot of parents, they tend to like hide stuff, or they have a really strong opinion about their parents. Oh, my dad was rubbish, or they were like this and they were like that, and the child absorbs that. And they don't, and then the kid doesn't know, but they just start to integrate that into their reality of their grandparents or their parents and so on. So I think, looking back into your childhood and making peace with it can be so beneficial to yourself and to your children as well. So they have an idea about safety of parents. Parents are safe, you can have different experiences of your childhood, and we can understand people make mistakes, and there were good times, there were bad times. And that's how life is. There is ups and downs and highs and lows and this kind of stuff. And to show as an example, I have a parent that that can be mature about those highs and lows and see that in people. It's amazing for kids to watch that in a parent.
Yeah, when they see that the parents change, then they know a change is possible. And the moment you know your assumptions and your belief system, it's all the other people I worked with, they start feeling light, and it's easier for them. It's it's good. So I'm doing a program for 6 weeks too. You can find this on my website, and you have a Q&A live, like we talk together about the experience you make when you do the exercises, right? And we create these suitable parents for each person, and this will help you to be independent from my advice. So you can do this after a short period of time. You can do it by yourself because you learn this new way of thinking.
Beautiful.
And the new point of view. Yeah. So it's, I like it because when I see those people who went through it, how they smile, how happy they are, and the childhood isn't that bad and scared thing. This is a good feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You're doing such beautiful things, Maria. Can you just spell your website? So it's www.mariasteuer. How do you spell that? All of it?
It's just my name, Maria, and without a dot or anything is the last name is steuer.com.
Okay.
There you can find all the things. Yeah.
And where can people find your books?
My books are on Amazon. It's like Your Childhood Holds the Key, but you also find buttons to click you to Amazon on the website.
Okay.
You find the connection to Amazon. So you do not have to remember the title of the book.
Okay, cool. Nice. Thank you. Thank you so much, Maria. It's been so lovely to speak to you. I love everything that you're doing. You're so empowering, and speaking to you always hits some part of some energy point in my body, and I will go back and reflect and read. I think it's wonderful that you're really getting to the root of why the world is as it is, and it's basically in the childhood. And the more that we can nurture children and have a stable and loving relationship and energy between them and the parent, is the more flourishing their lives will be. They can be who they are and feel safe in the world, and be creative and have beautiful relationships. So yeah, thank you so much, and I look forward to chat to you another time and following you. Oh, do you have any social media?
Yeah, I'm on. You find the buttons also on the website for Facebook, Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can follow there. It's no problem to find them. Yeah, and when you book a program, then you will get an invitation to the private group. This is also there. Yeah. And thank you for your interest. Thank you for being so open to talk about childhood, because a lot of people would run away when they hear childhood. So thank you very much, Sarah, for having me here and being interested in this stuff.
Yeah, thank you so much. Wow, I know this conversation brought so much value to my life, and I hope it has done the same to you. Let me know in the comments what you felt about this episode, and like, share with your loved ones, and subscribe to my channels to get more healing, nourishing, and empowering messages like this one. I love you, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.